It's my first time YouTube. Please be gentle. Okay? Okay. So, with my first video, or videos, because I'm probably going to split this up into a couple of bits, I wanted to just have a bit of a character study, bit of a dissection, if you will, of one of my favourite characters in a movie, because being a big old nerd I am, Iron Man, aka Tony Stark. So, what I really wanted to have a look at was, well, it all kicked off with Civil War. When I saw that film, I'll get into it when I cover it in the video, but basically, it was really a turning point for character development. And I got shocked at the point that hang on, this character's been in almost 7 movies at this point, which is, insane when you think about it. He's nearly 10 years old. That's older than some children. That's older than, than all this. So yeah, I really wanted to have a look at how Tony has actually developed over these movies. And the more and more I looked at it, the more I realised he is basically a spoilt kid who has quite a lot of mistakes throughout his life, but then gets his own reality check. Maybe even matures in the end. Maybe. Anyway, spoilers for basically every movie in the MCU. And, well, as I said, nearly 10 years old, I haven't really watched them yet. Anyway, moving on. So, where it all started. Iron Man 1, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Murdering People. Tony Stark, he's a spoilt kid basically, more money than sense, and one of those really annoying people who's naturally clever. Like that one person at school who did, no revision at all for that big exam you've been studying for all month, and then they walk in and ace it without even breaking a sweat. And you just got a grade C, and now your life is slowly spiraling because of that one thing you did a few years ago. I'm getting sidetracked. This is basically all about Tony Stark getting a wake-up call in terms of a career. It's a job he can do, he's his own boss, it's arguably for the greater good, and the second half of the movie is Tony getting to grips with this brand new role and cleaning up his own mess. A theme you will see in literally every movie. But just at the very end of the film, when he has saved the day, he has killed his oldest family friend with the help of his not yet girlfriend, it does look like he's going to step into the shadows and do the whole secret identity thing. And then this happens.
I am Iron Man.
You what?
Movie's done. Apart from Samuel Jackson turning up at the end to make our little 2008 nerd heads explode.
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
There he is, we see Tony dragging back into the spotlight, his ego is taking over, and now he's the same cool Tony Stark he was at the very beginning, but this time he's got a big metal suit and he can fly around and beat people up, and instead of selling weapons, he's gonna use this one to stop the bad people from having weapons. Great! So sure, he learnt a valuable lesson about purpose and responsibility, but in the same way a kid will learn his lesson at school. You tell him off, don't do that thing, okay, there's a good chance he's probably going to do it again, or something equally stupid. As a kid, Tony does swiftly forget this and goes back to the playground to basically muck about some more. Iron Man 2. So yeah, Tony's ego is back in a very big way. Not only has he got his fancy metal suit, he's also got the expo, he's got the glamour, the girls, the weird hologram things. Remember that basketball one? Yeah, that was kind of weird, wasn't it? So sure, he's being questioned by the government about how he's using these suits, as he is essentially flying around in his own personal WMD, and doesn't really seem to understand why people might have a problem with that. And he's being questioned by Hydra? But he regards it in the same way he usually does. He shows off, flip the birds to anyone who doesn't like it, and still remaining cool. He's still cool, always being cool. Tony Stark. He's a cool dude. He wants you to know that. But then we have Ivan Vanko, aka Whiplash. It's kind of a dumb name, isn't it? Probably why they never say it in the movie. But he turns up to make a big old mess of things in the same way that always happens. On top of this, Tony's dying. The core inside his body is slowly killing him. So his decisions become more and more random and destructive. This is basically Tony reaching the emo stage of growing up. The annoying teenager, get out of my room, mom, etc.
That is so unfair, I hate you!
So the kid is now letting things spiral out of control. So what he really needs is his dad to sit him down, put him straight, and... Okay, well in this instance he gets a timeout. A timeout from none other than Nick Fury.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
You either stay in your room, think about what you've done, phone privileges removed.
If you attempt to leave or play any games, I will tase you and watch Super Nanny while you drool into the carpet. Okay?
I think I got it, yeah.
But the annoying thing is, it eventually does work out. He is left on his own, and through some admittedly dodgy storytelling, he does manage to solve his own problems, just in time to go and solve another big mess that's cropped up. Just on a side note as well, Rhodey, aka War Machine, you know, his role in these movies is really just to prop up Tony. He's the best friend, he's always there for him, but I always kind of wish they did a little bit more with him. But, you know, I'm getting a little sidetracked, but just to mention that Rhodey, he basically steals his suit, which he manages to perfectly fit into, and then let an obviously subpar weapons designer fiddle around with it, and then finally, after helping save the day, he keeps the suit for himself anyway. Great stuff, love War Machine, but this is really just someone taking Tony's toy off him for not behaving, and then just keeping it anyway, seeing as he is supposedly the more responsible one. Allegedly. So yeah, Tony even gets together with Pepper at the end, so everything works out pretty nicely for him. He even gets a medal from Hydra? And he didn't really learn any lessons by the end of it. So the problem he had at the beginning of the movie, he has solved by the end, but he's really in the same position. In fact, he's in an even better position, and still cool. He's still cool! He wants you to know that! And then we come to The Avengers, or Avengers Assemble, as they called it here in the UK, because apparently somebody thought that people here in the United Kingdom might get this mixed up with this. So, to be honest, as brilliant as this film is, the gradual building of character for Tony Stark really takes a bit of a back seat, as this one's really all about Tony meeting a bunch of new friends in the playground and learning to get along and play nicely. Sure, he gets some of the best moments in the movie, but beyond that, it's really only towards the very end of the movie that we see some development for Tony. Oh yeah, and that bit where Phil Coulson dies. But you know, it's all fine, because he returns in a crap, and then okay, and then good, and then okay, pretty great TV show. So clearly, this shakes up Tony and upsets him, but aside from getting all the others suitably pissed off enough to actually buck up and go and save the day together. On the side note, by the way, if they're called the Avengers and Tony says how they're avenging the death of Coulson, if he's not dead anymore, should they change the name? Anyway, the big changing moment for Tony was the sacrifice play, flying the big nuclear missile into the wormhole to save New York City. So this is a huge moment for the film, and for the MCU. He's out in space. There's millions of other nasty space critters out there for blood, going to kill him and everyone he knows. The universe is way bigger than him and his poncy metal suits. This is such a big moment, it leads straight into phase 2, where we see he's basically getting PTSD from all of this, all about what they lovingly like to call the incident in all the Netflix shows.
All HD, got it right here on Blu-ray too, because I'm nice like that. Tony Stark, the big blonde dude with the hammer, the old dude with the shield, the green monster, and I don't mean Fenway. You can't get better raw footage of the incident anywhere else than right here.
It's fine, guys. You can just say it. It's weird. Just alien stuff. Don't be shy. Clearly, this only really hits him when everything quiets down, because when the Avengers actually finishes, he's more keen to actually go out for shawarma and hang out with his new BFF. Many say that Iron Man steals the spotlight in the Avengers. Well, yeah, they're right. But in the biggest movie yet, this is where Tony is really just getting to play around and show off once again. He butts head with a few of his new team members and obviously setting up for future tensions. But it's a clash of personalities which is put aside for the greater good. Not really resolving it, just learning to get along and, sort out what's going on. Having friends and helping others when he needs to. And we already know that. Also, side note, I feel the Pepper romance was never quite as solid as we thought, since it's his robot butler who has to remind him to call her before he dies. So yeah, Phase 1. Great setup for the egomaniac Tony Stark, the spoiled kid who he's learnt a few lessons along the way and a few responsibilities, but he hasn't really matured yet. People love Tony Stark because he's a brand new character, unless, you actually read the comic books, but he's not one who wants to hide behind a mask. He's more than happy to just muck about and show the world who he is, and he's more than happy to show off his brand new powers and everything else he has as well. But in terms of a character, he doesn't really develop much. It's more of, he just kind of does the same thing over and over, and it's something that we all love. Robert Downey Jr., you are basically Tony Stark in real life. This is why this is so perfect for you. But it's only really later that we get a sense that, there's some development to this character. We get a bit of a tease, but we never actually get there. Just yet, anyway.